A nervous denial of desire would come back over me. On one of my last visits there, I'd been... delusional enough to dress for my job hunt in a button-down shirt and tie and khakis, except it was midsummer, so I'd cut the khakis off that morning, misjudging a little, so they were shorter than necessary. I looked like a morbid schoolboy. I don't know why it took me being in a seedy strip club to realize this problem. Caxton, Old Buck's servant and wig dresser, proves an important example of the way that engagement with dusty residual forms of culture can create a sense of intimacy. Noun, nonsense, oppress, object, personnel. The patrons were typically older gay men, fidgety truckers, a couple stray non-passable cross-dressers, and a little old Chinese lady who always sat alone at the bar, sipping orange soda, being very quiet. She'd just sit there in her pantsuit with her hands on her lap and her legs crossed. She was so short that her legs dangled from the bar stool like a child's. The strippers would come out and dance on the stage or walk through the crowd giving lap dances for tips. I never tipped. I was always like, in my head, what? I just accidentally walked in here. What is this place for? What are those men doing? I wonder if they're hiring any bartenders. And it was also sort of like that for the Chinese lady. She'd look down at her lap and her into her drink like, I am an old lady. I'm open-minded. They have the best soda here. I liked her for that. But also, she normalized the place for me in a bad way. She made the possibility of cruising for a hookup even more difficult and embarrassing. Her simple, aloof demeanor helped me keep my desires in check. She definitely didn't seem eager to follow some stranger off to the bathroom. Until this day. A black guy came out on stage. I'd never seen a black stripper there before. He was very tall, wide-shouldered, totally ripped, and greased up like a hot buttered roll. Penis, radish, radar, Swiss, sterile, teak, terror, underwire, and less. Just as dirt and dust are motifs that serve to introduce the particulate nature of feeling in the novel, wig powder is an especially resonant signifier of a residual temporality. Varicose, vagabond. The little Chinese lady jumped off her stool. Like a maniac, she ran up toward the stage, screaming and clapping and waving singles at the guy. It was like she'd been waiting for it the whole time. Caxton mourns quite openly the increasing obscurity of his profession. After all, his professional identity is threatened. He himself is at risk of becoming a residual form. Despite the potential financial privation, it isn't necessarily the loss of the profession itself that Caxton mourns. Rather, he invokes the loss of a particular kind of relationship between men. As a servant whose charge is in matters of dress and hygiene, the wig dresser is imbricated in the more intimate details of his client's life. She danced right up on him, attempting to mimic his moves, except he did this little bouncy thing with his penis, making it flop up and down, and she couldn't do that. The penis was ample. It had a life of its own down there, swinging like a newborn puppy. He was bigger than any of the other strippers in every way. Walrus. Wisdom. He had a beautiful smile, a shiny red thong, and possessed a kind of gracefulness even while grinding. I just sat in the back with my beer and my tie and cut-off khakis, but I felt better, readier for something, less ashamed. Thus admitting his desire for access to Lovell's body, Caxton allies himself with a pre-revolutionary way of life. His nostalgia for this supposedly less problematic time represents modernity as encroaching upon the vanishing possibility for everyday forms of homosocial intimacy. Xerxes, Xanadu, yellow. Could I be completed and not know it? The power outlet in the pitchy south part of my heart flames up and wails like a newborn on waking. The little lady had come unglued, and she wasn't afraid of who saw. It's not like I ever knew what I wanted to find there in the first place, but finding someone who did know was probably the sexiest possible scenario. Eventually, I found a job and stopped going. I started working as a substitute teacher and discovered manhunt.com. But the world had tilted a little in her presence. Yak, zither, zoom. And I think she spoke on my behalf, on everyone's everywhere maybe, when she knelt down before that black hunk that day, her tiny arms outstretched, clutching cash in both fists, screaming over the terrible music, "Show me the potato, mister! Show me the potato!" Indeed, I would think later, and many times afterwards, when there was something I wanted but was reluctant to ask for. Show me the damn potato. Thank you.